D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just literally finished the first episode of She-Hulk. Now, I just want to say a couple of things before I get started on this. It's been a while since I've read the She-Hulk comic books written by Dan Slott. And I have to say, and who wrote it before him? Shoot. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's the only thing at Marvel that Dan Slott has done that I liked. Everything else is just crap. But this show, I thought it was just going to be a lot of man hating, and being all like, hey, I'm woman, hear me roar. I'm better than you men and everything. And I was afraid of that. Now, there is a little bit of that going on, but I didn't think this episode was bad. It wasn't like great. It was kind of, it's a little bit of a slow burn. I think maybe releasing 2 episodes would have been better, but I get why they didn't. It's fine. They need that content on Disney Plus to keep it flowing, and Disney, Marvel and Star Wars, the only thing they're really busting out over there that anybody really cares about. But yeah, this episode was not bad. But it wasn't, like I said, it's nothing to write home about, like I watched it and I was like, okay, it's a fine first episode. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Now, before I get started on this breakdown, though, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So now that I got that out of the way, let's go ahead with this breakdown. So it starts off where she's kind of talking to us, and she's broken the wall, fourth wall in the comic books before. And I just want to say, I mentioned that in my one of my trailer reactions, and one of you commented she's always broken the fourth wall. She did it before Deadpool. But I just want to say, when it comes to normies, people that don't read comic books, yeah, she broke the fourth wall before Deadpool. But Deadpool did it first in live action, and I'm sorry. She's just going to get compared to that. You gotta deal with that. Okay. And if you don't like it, kick rocks, because I don't care. So she's copying in this case. I'm sorry. You just got to deal. And Deadpool does it better anyway. So, all right. So she's doing her final speech. Shoot, what are they called in courtrooms? Her closing statement. There we go. And she's doing it to her colleagues or whatever, and this guy right here, this lawyer guy, he's like, I feel like it would be better coming from a man and everything. And this woman, who is a paralegal, she's all like, no, you're doing great. Now this woman I find to be very freaking annoying. I don't like her already. I'm like, you are somebody I would not hang out with because you are very annoying. But whatever, it's fine. But she's propping her up and everything. And I thought she did fine with her little closing statement thing. It was fine. It was totally fine. Because she's like, you need to go away and everything. And then she's getting ready for her courtroom appearance and everything. She's like, give him that savage Hulk look and everything. And she's like, I don't have a savage Hulk look and everything. And she's like, right there and everything. She's like, you're going to kill it. And she's talking about, she keeps bringing up the Hulk thing and everything. And so then, she comes back. She's like, I feel like I should explain some things to you. Like, she's talking to us and everything. And she's like, it happened a couple months ago. Me and my cousin went on a road trip. And they're sitting here driving and everything. And she's like, wow, that is the longest answer I've ever asked for. What have you been up to lately? And he pulls out the chopsticks from the Cheetos, and she's like, so you don't get Cheeto fingers. But I just want to say, who doesn't love the Cheeto fingers? Because you get and everything. So, whatever. And he's got this little doohickey right here on his arm. And that is so he can regulate Hulk, so he can, stop himself, so his arm can heal. Because this obviously takes place after Endgame. But his arm isn't fully healed, so he's healing it and everything. Or after after Endgame. So then they're sitting here talking, and she brings up the fact that Captain America is a virgin. She's all like, and we've seen this clip before if you saw it online and everything, and they're talking about it. And she's talking about how, Captain America, the whole time he went from becoming a super soldier to in the she says that he was thrown on the front lines, but if you remember, he went on that USO tour and everything. So he wasn't thrown on the front lines right away, and then he just was busy, time and time again after that. He was just so busy that when he died, he was a virgin. And I just want to say real quick before, because it comes back up, which they did a good job. It comes back up at the end of the episode in the end credits scene and everything. But I just want to say, first off, I don't think he died a virgin, because if you remember, he went back in time and got married to Peggy Carter and everything. So obviously, he wasn't a virgin when he died. That's, he may have been a virgin. Well, he wasn't a virgin when he went to the ice. But I just want to say that her whole thing here is just very. I think the obsession with it is very weird. Like, if you're one of those people that's just all like, Captain America was a virgin, I'm like, who cares about that stuff? So anyways, so there's that. It's a weird obsession. He's like, stop using your lawyer talk on me. So they're driving and everything. And then this ship pops up in front of them. And this is a Sicarian ship from Thor Ragnarok and everything. It's just a little bit different coloring and everything, but it's got that circularness to it and everything, which it's I like this ship. It's pretty cool. But I just want to say, and I kind of have it a little bit later on, but I just want to say that I think that what's going on here is this is Hulkling in this ship. I think that this is how they're bringing in Hulkling. I don't think they're going to do it exactly like the comic books have it. I think they're going to do it to where, because you remember when Hulk was on Sakaar and everything, and he was just Hulk himself. He was like the different personality and everything. I think Hulk was getting major busy. Like he was like doing so much fucking, like ridiculous amounts of fucking. So I think that this is either Hulkling or Hulkling's mama coming in and being like, hey, take your kid kind of thing. I may be wrong on that. If I am, so be it and everything. Because Hulkling really isn't like, he's not a Hulk. If I remember correctly, he's the combination of Kree and Skrull, and he can shapeshift. And that's why he's, and then he becomes the emperor of both empires because they have an alliance. Anyways, that's besides the point. Anyway, but I do think this is Hulkling, just a theory. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if it's true or not, because they're changing up, different stuff as far as the, and they're trying to do the new Avengers or the Young Avengers or whatever. And anyways, okay. So then, like a typical woman, she crashes the car. You lady drivers. I have this theory about women drivers. My wife hates it, but you could be the smartest woman in the world, like this lawyer right here and everything. But as soon as you get behind the wheel of a car, you're like, is this a wheel? What is this? What is this? It turns. Look at that. I know you're all like, that's sexist. I don't care if you think I'm sexist, as long as you think I'm thin. So they crash the car, and while she's getting out, this huge spike right here, which as soon as I saw it, I was all like, how are you not like, and she cuts herself on it. And they do the little shink sound effect. I was like, oh, that wasn't fake at all. So she cuts herself, and foreboding. And she goes to help her cousin out. She tries to get out. He's like, get away from me, get away from me. And this right here is his blood. It drops into hers. And he's like, get away, I'm bleeding, get away. And I'm like, oh, it's not the best acting, Mark Ruffalo. She starts getting the Hulk veins and everything. So she transfers into the She-Hulk and can't really see her. You just see her blurry reflection. And then he hulks out, and everything, but you don't see it. That's the best you get. They just did a little coloring and everything. And she runs off into the woods because that's what you do. And then she wakes up and she's like, what? Where am I? What's going on? What's going on? She sees this bar / club and everything, and it's got a bouncer, so she's got to sneak in the back. And I'm all like, I feel like if I was a bouncer and you came up and you were all disheveled like this, I'd be like, what happened? Yeah, come on in, clean yourself up. So she sneaks in, she goes into the bathroom, she's cleaning herself in, and these like fabulous, ladies who are dressed like, they're from Brooklyn or Staten Island. And I'm all like, I don't think you're out in Staten Island, but they come in, they're like, honey, who did this to you, whoever she is, or he, or they, you don't deserve this. You're better than that and everything. And I'm all like, whatever. So they give her some gross shoes, like some hooker heels. And they put some makeup on her, which I'm all like, is this what you would do with a battered woman if she was in here? You just start putting on makeup and give her, shoes and your coat and everything, which is very nice of them, I guess. But I just go, that's a lot. Like, most people wouldn't get involved. Oh, these women are so, look how tacky they're dressed. Yeah, they're from Staten Island for sure. Anyways, so she's out there waiting, because she's like, can I borrow your phone? And they give her the phone. She calls her cousin or whatever she does. And these guys come out and they start heckling her. They're like, hey, what you doing? Everything. She's like, I'm just waiting for my boyfriend. She's trying to walk away and everything. Like, hey, they're like, we're just trying to be nice and everything. What, you too good to talk to us? And she hulks out. She's like, and everything. And Hulk comes and they're hugging each other. I'm sorry. I've never done this with another person when I've been scared, like just grab them, like, and everything. Ridiculous. But I get it. It's a comic book show. Hulk comes in and tackles her. And then she wakes up and she's on she's in this fantastic room. And she puts on some different clothes. She comes out, and this is the skull thing from the original Ultron. I have no strings, Ultron, which was a fun little Easter egg. And she goes down to the basement and she's like, hey man, what's going on? What's going on here? What is this? And he's like, oh, Tony Stark built this. And he said it was on loan and that he'd come back and he'd take it back one day. But he's not going to do that now because he's dead. And so he's like, listen, you're a Hulk now, but I've analyzed our DNA and it's you and I, it's our DNA that okay. So first off, sorry, I'm going into it. So first off, he says that her DNA helped heal his arm, and now he's able to be Hulk and Bruce Banner at the same time. Smart Hulk. But her DNA healed his arm because before he was using that little doohickey to stop himself becoming Hulk so he could heal his arm from doing the snap, the first snap. So then he talks about how she's going to be a Hulk now and their DNA is special or whatever. And that her genetic sequencing, I can't remember exactly. So then he goes in and he destroys it. And she's all like, well, that was a little over dramatic kind of thing. And then he talks about, basically, he's all like, you're a Hulk now, so get ready. And she's like, I need. He's like, what do you need? And she's like, pancakes. And I'm like, yeah, pancakes are great. I love pancakes, I don't know how you like your pancakes. I just like pancake. I literally, I'm so weird. I just eat pancakes plain, like a little bit of butter, tiny bit of butter, and then just with my hands. I don't like to eat with my hands, but pancakes for sure. I just like, but then like if you have a sausage, I like to roll the sausage up in it. Only the links. Oh, I want to do the patty too. All right. Anyways, too much about pancakes. So she's like, how long is this gonna take and everything? And he plops down his manual to be Hulk. And he's like, this took me 15 years to become Hulk and everything. And I'm all like, and she's like, what? And everything. So then he's like, first we're going to test, and you saw this in the trailers. He's like, we're going to test out what makes you Hulk or whatever. I like right here, it kind of says Stark right there. That's fun. So then she becomes Hulk here, and then she breaks out, and he's all like, you're you? And she's like, yeah, who else would I be? And he's all like, I'm a little jealous now because I have two personalities. And I think that it's because they're different people that's why he becomes Hulk, like crazed Hulk. And now he's Smart Hulk. And she's just Jennifer Walters the whole time. She just happens to be green and everything and huge. And so he's all like, well, that takes out a big chunk of it. So now we need to, because she's all like, why don't you give me the little arm doohickey thing? He's like, no, that was a prototype. It was built specially for me. And she's like, why don't you build one special for me and everything? And he's all like, it's not that simple. You're just going to have to learn to be She-Hulk. So they're sitting here meditating, and she's like, my chakras are aligned. I'm getting a great butt in the process. High five. And he's like, that's weird. No high five and everything. So then the next morning he wakes her up and he puts this horn. And I said this in my trailer reaction, but listen, I've known people personally that have had an air horn put up to their ear like that and blown, and it busts their eardrum, and they had to like get it fixed and everything. And they had like a thing on their ear for like the longest time because somebody did that. You can't just put an air horn up to somebody's eardrum and it go okay. That's not how it works. But maybe she's okay because she's a Hulk. But she wakes up, and we saw this in the trailer, and he's all like, are you feeling extraordinary amounts of anger? And she's like, no, the regular, the appropriate amount of anger and everything. And he tells her like how when you live, you can't just live in an irregular apartment kind of thing. You have to live in a place that's like your furniture is supported because you're, you know, a Hulk now, which makes sense. They're doing all this stuff, and he says, "Who's your best friend?" That whole thing from the trailer, and she's like, "Jenny," or whatever her name is. And he's like, "No, Spandex. Spandex is your best friend." They're throwing rocks here. She throws it further or whatever than he does because he just kind of tosses it, and then she tosses it further than his. So then he picks one up and he throws it into outer space and everything. And she's all like, and everything. He's all like, being Hulk is about balance, and she's, you know, doing her little thing, giving a thumbs up. He's obviously annoyed with her. He punches the ground. She does a little twirl, punches the ground, and, you know, knocks some trees over and some rocks off the thing. He pushes her off the cliff. I'm sorry I'm going through all of this fast, but it's like a montage and everything. So you're just like trying to, you know, get through it real quick and everything. So then she falls off the thing, and she's like, and everything. She comes, and he's all like, punk. And then she jumps back up, and she's like, that was a dick move and everything. He's all like, yeah, well, I meant it to be a dick move and everything. So then she's all like, why? She's like, I'm obviously killing it at all of this and everything. So then he's all like, there's not just a downside to it, there's also a plus side. He's like, well, our metabolism is so big that we can drink as much alcohol as we want, and we get the buzz, but without the want to blow in chunks all over the place. You don't want to, you know, lose your cookies kind of thing. And I go, I guess that's an okay. At first I thought it was like they wouldn't be drunk at all. They just drink alcohol. And I'm all like, I don't like that. But yeah, because I'm like, what's the point of drinking if you're not going to get buzzed? But if they're getting buzzed, then good. Apologies, I just needed some more coffee. So then they're sitting there, they're reminiscing, and he's talking about how him and Tony built this bar themselves, but he mostly built it. Tony just sat around complaining about Steve, which makes sense. You know, that was a huge betrayal. Steve, I was on Tony's side during the Civil War, so yeah. Anyways, so then the next day she's like, you didn't warn me that we'd have a Hulk-size hangover, and I'm all like, yeah, you just need, like, listen. I've got a regimen for hangovers and everything. Mine is, you know, Midol and greasy breakfast, you know. Unless it's like a special occasion, then I just started drinking again. I put a little Kahlua in my coffee or rum chata. So good. Anyway, so she's like, when can I go back to my life? And he's like, he's like, you're a superhero now. And she's like, I don't want to be a superhero. And he's all like, you have to control your emotions. And she's like, as a woman, we do that way more than you men every day. She's like, if I get angry, I get called difficult, or I could lose my job, or literally be murdered and everything. And I was like, you know, that's, you know, because she talks about being catcalled and mansplaining kind of thing. She doesn't use the term mansplaining, but I don't like mansplaining because I get mansplained all the time at work and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You don't have to treat me like a child and everything. But we all go through the mansplaining thing, the catcalling thing. I don't know. I've never catcalled anybody, so I don't know about that. And I've never witnessed it, but you know, I'm not saying it's not a thing. I'm just saying I've never done it before. I don't understand that whole that whole thing. Like I've seen it on TV before where guys are just like pss, pss, and everything, and I'm like, what is that? Just go up to her and be like, hey, my name is Matt. You know, I think you're really cute. Is there any chance I could get your number? And if they say no, you just move on. You just kick rocks. You know, you're just like, all right, cool. So she's upset about it and everything. So she's basically like, I'm leaving. And so she gets in there, and he's all like, you know, he's like, it's not that simple. You got to learn how to control this stuff. And I can't remember what they say here. Sorry, I should have wrote it down word for word, but it was kind of important kind of thing. And she's basically like, get out of my way. So she rolls into him, and he knocks over, and he's like, dick move. And she's all like, yeah, well, and he starts talking to her, whatever. And she's like, I'm so sick and tired of your psychobabble, kind of trying to explain stuff. And she punches him, and then they get into a fight. And I didn't get too many screenshots of this because it's kind of one of those things that you have to see it and everything. Like, so she's in my opinion losing. He does his little smack, and she flies back, and then she tries to do it, but then she starts doing it more often, and it's hurting his ears. And then they're still fighting. And like I said, I feel like she's losing because she doesn't know how to fight. Like he's had more experience in that. So they fall into the bar, and he's like, not the bar. And he's like, you're fixing it. So they're sitting here fixing. He's like, listen, if you want to go back to being a lawyer, I respect that. And she breaks the fourth wall again. She's like, he doesn't mean that and everything. And they build Bruce's bar, and she carves her name, because I didn't get a screenshot of it before, but it's right here. You see their names right there. And they're eating their chopsticks and Cheetos. And then he's like, go on and lawyer it up, honeybee. You're gonna rock it out. And she's like, thanks. She's like, I'll see you at the next family dinner. He's like, later, fuzzball. Talking about her hair, I'm assuming. And she's like, and that's the legist. And I just want to say real quick before we get to the rest of this episode, because there's only a little bit left. Tatiana, everybody's doing a good job as far as acting wise, even though that character is annoying, her little friend. She did her part and everything. But Tatiana Maslany, I love her, so she's great. Okay, so then she's sitting in court, and this guy's giving his little speech, which I thought was kind of like, ladies and gentlemen of the court, my client did everything he could, da 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 da. And this is the client, and she's going to go work for him later on, because we saw it in the trailers and stuff. So then he's all like, don't screw this up, Walters. And I'm all like, yo, dude, be a team player. Me personally, like, I have coworkers that I absolutely do not like. But at the same time, I try to be supportive, because we're in this together. Like, if the company is succeeding because we're working together, then we are succeeding. So I was just like, yo, dude, calm it down. Her speech was fine. Her closing argument in the office was good. You're just being a dick now. And I'm like, just prop her up a little bit so she gets some confidence so she can go do her thing. So she gets up, and she goes, and she's all like, she stands up. She's like, ladies and gentlemen of the court. And then all of a sudden, boom, we get a crash through, and it's Titania. Now, this is played by Jamila Gianni. I don't remember. But she bursts in, and she, hold on, I'm sorry. She bursts in. Now, this is not Titania from the comic books, because this is what she looks like in the comic books. And I don't know what's going on here with this outfit. I don't like it. And Jamila Gianni, don't get mad if I got the actress's name right. She only had like a small bit in this. She looks more like this. This is Titania in the comic books also. This is more of the look that I feel like this look in the show is more than this one. But I like this one better. Titania is a crappy character anyways. But yeah, so we'll see. And we'll see if she shows up, because in the comic book, she has fought Captain Marvel, and she didn't fight Captain Marvel. She let Captain Marvel just take her in, because she was a woman. And I'm like, what is that nonsense? And so, oops, sorry guys. So then she's like, huh, and everything, and stuff is falling, and she's all, there she is. Yeah. And so these guys are like, guys, stop there, and everything. And she's like, yo, you got to do your Hulk thing. She's like, what? And she's like, I really love this outfit. She's like, take off your shoes. She's like, thank you. She turns into Hulk, and then she's like, who the hell are you? And she's like, I'm Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. And so she throws this table, which I'm all like, you moved pretty fast to throw this table. She throws this table, she grabs it and throws it back at her. And then she tries to do this jump kick, which looked fake as shit. But I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. And then she punches her, and and everything, and knocks her out or whatever. And then she puts her shoes down. She changes back, and she's like, I'm ready for my closing argument. And then that's the end of the episode. Then we get this end credit scene where he talks to Jennifer, where they're sitting there talking, and she's like, Steve, he was a virgin. He's like, Steve lost his virginity to on the USO tour to one of these USO girls, which makes sense. I just want to say, like, he's, afterwards she comes up, she's like, hey, you may have America's ass, but I want to ride America's dick and everything. And that makes sense. I know some people might think that he saved himself for Peggy, but I would just oh yeah, never mind. I'm not going to tell you a personal story, but I don't think it's either way. It's fine if he saved himself for Peggy, or if he got as many notches in his belt as he could. But this makes sense, even though he had the superhero serum, super soldier serum, he's still a man and he has needs, and maybe one of these ladies will like, listen, honey, we'll all fuck you. You just got to say the word. So, I mean, just because you're a good guy. And she's all like, yeah, see, I knew it. Captain America. And then they beep out. They beep out as she does that. And so hold on, I want to get a good that is the end of the episode. And I think that I thought, like I said before, this was not a great episode. Great is not the word I would use, but this was a good episode. I'm not going to sit here and crap on a show and say it's bad when it's not bad. This wasn't the strongest like Marvel episode we've ever seen, but it wasn't bad. I want to say that right now. I repeat, I am not saying it's bad. I do wish that the courtroom scenes were a little bit more like Law and Order, just because I think that, and the writers have come out and said that none of them knew how to write courtroom scenes. And I'm all like, then hire somebody or talk to somebody. I'm like, I don't understand why you would admit to that, because the head writer, she wrote Rick and Morty. She wrote the Pickle Rick scene episode, which was funny, but I just go, that's fine that you want to make this a comedy and everything. I get that. The comic books are very comedic and stuff. But if you're gonna have an attorney, you need to write some courtroom scenes and do a good job of it. But it's like, whatevs. It's fine. It's fine. And again, Tatiana Maslany does a great job. I love her. I'll watch anything she's in. She's fantastic. She did that Orphan Black show, and she was great in that. It ended a little weird, but whatever. But and then she's in this movie called The Woman in Gold, or The Golden Woman. Anyways, that movie she's great in too. She's just fantastic. And so props to her. But like I said, this episode we'll say was mediocre. Like, it wasn't bad, wasn't great. I'm obviously going to watch all of them, to cover it and everything. But that is my breakdown and review of this, guys. Tell me what you guys thought about this. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part? I'd have to say my favorite part was her fight with Hulk and everything. But yeah, and tell me what you guys thought. Do you think Steve was a virgin when he died or whatnot? Or do you think he told the truth? Or, because sometimes guys lie and everything, which is feasible, but I don't think he lied. All right, tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys on my next She-Hulk breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.